students, today we will be seeing the gross anatomical features of the uterus.
Now, when we see the components of the female reproductive system, these comprise of a pair of gonads, that is the ovaries, a pair of uterine tubes or fallopian tubes, the uterus, which has got three parts, the fundus, body and the cervix, and inferiorly the vagina and the external genital organs. These are components of the female reproductive system. Apart from this, the accessory reproductive organs like the mammary glands and the greater vestibular glands also are components of the female reproductive system. Now what we can see here is the specimen of the uterus. Now let us first see that where is the uterus situated. Now as is seen here, this is a section of the pelvis, and let us identify the structures here first. This is anterior end and this is posterior. What we see here is the superior surface of the urinary bladder, and what we see here is the uterus, and posterior most we can see the rectum and anal canal. So when we talk of situation of the uterus is situated obliquely in the lesser pelvis between the urinary bladder, which is below and in front, and the rectum and sigmoid colon, which lies above and behind. On each side, the uterus receives the openings of the two fallopian tubes at the superolateral angles or at the cornua, and the uterus communicates below with the vagina through the external os of the cervix. Now let us see what are the measurements of the uterus. Now measurements we always talk in a nulliparous uterus. So in the nulliparous uterus, the length of the uterus is about 7.5 centimeters or 3 inches. Here the fundus and the body measure about 5 centimeters while the cervix measures about 2.5 centimeters. The breadth of the uterus at the fundus measures about 5 centimeters or 2 inches, and the thickness or the anteroposterior diameter of the uterus is about 2.5 centimeters or 1 inch. The weight of the uterus is about 30 to 40 grams. In adults, the length of the body of the uterus as compared to the cervix of the uterus is in the ratio of 2:1, while in children the ratio of body as compared to the cervix is 1:2. Now let us see what are the subdivisions or parts of the uterus. Now uterus has got three parts. The upper part, dome shaped expanded part, which is the fundus. Then comes the body, and lower down is the cervix. So three parts. Fundus is the part which lies above the entrance of the two fallopian tubes. Now what we see here, these are the two medial ends of the fallopian tubes, and this area above it is the fundus. The body extends from the fundus going down up to the isthmus, which is nothing but the upper end of the cervix where the internal os is present. The cervix is the lowermost part of the uterus, and this is again divided into two parts. A part which lies above the vagina, which is the supravaginal part, and a part which lies within the vagina, which is the vaginal part. So these are the three parts of the uterus: the fundus, the body and the cervix. Cervix having two parts, supravaginal and vaginal. Now let us see what is the axis of the uterus. Normally the uterus lies in anteversion and anteflexion. Anteversion is a forward bend or a forward angle of about 90 degrees between the long axis of the cervix and long axis of the vagina, provided the urinary bladder and the rectum both are empty. While anteflexion is also a forward bending angle of about 125 degrees between the long axis of the body of the uterus and long axis of the cervix. Now let us again see the presenting parts in detail. The fundus, as I have said, is the expanded dome-shaped upper end of the uterus situated above an imaginary line which connects the entrances of the two uterine tubes. The fundus is directed forwards. It is convex on all sides and is covered by peritoneum. Then next we study the body of the uterus extending from the fundus up to the isthmus. This is flattened anteroposteriorly, is wider in the upper part, and it contains the uterine cavity. The body has two surfaces, two borders and one uterine cavity. The two surfaces are the anterior surface and the posterior surface. The borders are the two lateral borders and it has a cavity within. The anterior or the visceral surface is flat, as is seen here, is directed downwards and forwards and is covered by peritoneum up to the isthmus. The posterior surface or the intestinal surface is convex. As you can see here, it is curved. So posterior surface is convex, directed upwards and backwards. It is covered with peritoneum up to the posterior fornix of the vagina, and it is related to the sigmoid colon and the coils of small intestine. Each lateral border is rounded. It is non-peritoneal as it gives attachment to the broad ligament. It is related to the tortuous uterine vessels. The lateral angles or superolateral angles, also called as the cornua of uterus, project outwards from the junction of the fundus and the body. Each angle shows the attachment of the medial end of the uterine tube, the round ligament of uterus which lies below and in front of the attachment of the uterine tube, and the ligament of ovary which lies behind and below. So three structures seen at the cornua: the medial ends of the uterine tube, the ligament of ovary, and the attachment of the round ligament of uterus. Then we go on to study the uterine cavity. This cavity appears as a vertical slit on sagittal section, transverse slit on a cross section, and it is triangular on coronal section. In the coronal section, when we are saying that the cavity is triangular, its base is formed by the fundus, while the apex lies inferiorly and is at the internal os, and through this the uterine cavity communicates with the cervical canal. Now we go on to study the cervix. The cervix is the lowermost fixed cylindrical part of the uterus, extends from the isthmus or the internal os above up to the external os below. It contains the cervical canal which communicates with the uterine cavity above and with the vagina below. The cervix has got two parts, an upper part which is the supravaginal part and a lower part which is the vaginal part. What are the relations of the cervix? The supravaginal part of cervix anteriorly is non-peritoneal and is related to the base of the urinary bladder. As is seen here, this is the supravaginal part of the cervix, non-peritoneal and is related to the base of the urinary bladder, and what separates these structures is the loose parametric tissue. Posteriorly, if you see the supravaginal part of the cervix, it is covered by the peritoneum, and that is the recto-uterine pouch which covers the supravaginal part posteriorly, and this part is related to the sigmoid colon and the small intestines which separate the cervix from the rectum which lies more posteriorly. On either side, the cervix is related to the ureter, uterine artery, attachment of Macenrod's ligament, broad ligament, and paracervical lymph nodes. The vaginal part of the cervix is conical in shape and is where the blunt tip rests on the posterior vaginal wall. The tip shows a depression for the external os. The external os, as is seen here, this is the lowermost end of the cervix and this is the external os. So the external os is circular in a newborn child and presents a transverse slit in adults bounded by anterior and posterior lips. The cervix is surrounded by a circular gutter of vaginal canal which is subdivided into 4 fornices which are named as anterior, posterior and 2 lateral fornices. The anterior fornix is non-peritoneal and is related to base of urinary bladder. The posterior fornix is the deepest and is covered with peritoneum of recto-uterine pouch of Douglas. Lateral fornix gives attachment to the Macenrod's ligament and is related to crossing over of the ureter and uterine artery. The cervical canal is a fusiform cavity on coronal section and communicates above with the uterine cavity through the internal os. It shows 2 walls, anterior and posterior, each showing median longitudinal fold along each wall, and from the sides of this longitudinal fold, numerous palmate folds pass upwards and laterally, resembling the branches of a tree, and that is why it is called as arbor vitae uteri. The ridges of one wall fit in the grooves of the opposite wall, and thus the cervical canal is kept closed. What are the ligaments of cervix? These are seen at the cervico-vaginal junction as a pair of Macenrod's ligaments laterally, a pair of pubocervical ligaments anteriorly, and a pair of uterosacral ligaments posteriorly.